Good evening, everyone who's here live with us at the Education USA Fulbright office, as well as those of you who are visiting us online and perhaps later. I want to welcome you all to this presentation on studying in the United States at a U.S. Private research institution. Going to talk about some of the admissions aspects, things to consider, why you should consider studying in the United States at a large research institution. And we also have a current student here with us this evening. She will introduce herself a bit later, and we'll be able to answer some questions that you may have. Her name is Betsy Spear. She's from our engineering school, studying computer science right now at a semester study program at Korea University, but she is a current full-time SU student. So, welcome. The first thing I want to talk to you about is, actually I should back up and just also say that I myself am an alum of Syracuse University as well. I studied political science there at our Maxwell School. I'm also a graduate of the law school, so I can also answer some of your questions about that as well. Among the topics I want to discuss tonight, first wanted to quickly go through why study in the United States? Why consider the United States as a place where you're going to spend a significant amount of time and probably financial resources to obtain your undergraduate education? And that is in part for a variety of reasons, but in part because of the sheer volume of higher education institutions in the country. The United States puts a lot of resources and investment towards higher education, and they really offer some of the best academic programs in the world. So students thinking about a variety of programs really should consider the U.S., do their research, and look at schools like Syracuse and others who specialize in certain academic programs. In addition, the United States offers a diversity in geography. We have two coasts that are extremely different from one another, as well as the great Midwest region in between. They offer a lot of the traditional American style experience, whether it's a large city or a small town. The universities and colleges in the United States vary in size. We have some very small liberal arts colleges, maybe a few thousand students, to extremely large universities that are also the size of small cities that range up to 60 or 70,000 students. It's an important factor for students to consider when thinking about studying in the United States, and that is the size of the campus. For some students, a large university is simply not for them. Perhaps what they want is a much smaller, more intimate campus environment, and the U.S. can really offer a variety of options for students looking at either of those. All right. In addition, the U.S. Institutions do offer academic training in hundreds, perhaps thousands of academic specializations. That list is growing every year as times change and specializations morph and converge into new areas of study. One of the popular things to study in the United States that more and more students are taking advantage of is the option to do independent research or independent study, which allows the student to really create their own curriculum based on their interests. In kind of tying into that, the ability to be flexible with your majors and change your majors or even transfer to other schools is also available to a lot of students in the United States. And you can see here that in the admissions process, they do take the holistic approach to admissions, taking a look at the whole applicant, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. If there are any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to ask. Briefly wanted to discuss some of the admissions details for studying in the United States. It can be a very selective admissions process. This depends largely on the school, and not even the school, but also the academic program that you are looking at. A large institution like Syracuse University offers a variety of academic programs ranging from engineering to journalism. journalism, to business and finance, and many others. And depending on the prestige of a particular academic program, the admissions process might be more selective than perhaps another program offered on the same campus. So do keep that in mind. Admissions in higher ed tends to be contained within the specific department or major that you're applying into. In terms of admissions, many institutions consider the whole applicant approach. This means that these institutions consider both tangible and intangible factors. That means that these schools take into account both your numbers, your scores, your letter grades, but they also want to know who you are as a person. They want to take into account your professional experience, if you have any, your leadership experience, your personal interests, your goals. They want to make sure that who you are as a person is going to be compatible with the environment of the actual institution. So it really is not just a numbers game. These schools do take very seriously the applicant as a person as well. They want to make sure it's the right choice for you and for them. So in considering these factors, these schools will look at your academic performance in your lower school and in your high school. I can tell you that in looking at the transcript, excuse me, in evaluating the transcript for students, many of these institutions will look at the courses that you've taken. They will look at your performance in these courses over time as well. So perhaps if you had a poor semester or a poor experience, that can usually be overlooked if you have decent grades. So, in addition to other factors considered for admissions are extracurricular activities, things that you've done outside of school. These include leadership, entrepreneurship, or creative highlights, those sorts of things. Volunteering is something that's not up here, but it's a very important factor that we look for in a lot of students to see if they've taken the time to perform any community service projects. That is something that demonstrates to us a leader who cares about their surroundings and other people, and we do consider that to be a valuable asset amongst our student population. The essay, the personal statement as part of the application process, is a very important piece of the admissions process. It's one of the only opportunities that the student can really, in their own words, describe to the school their own personality, their own goals, their achievements, and those sorts of things. So do take that very seriously. At a school like Syracuse, I can tell you that there are live people, admissions professionals, who are reviewing these personal statements. They want to make sure that you have put an appropriate amount of time and consideration and effort into the personal statement, and they appreciate when they review statements that are genuine, that are coming from the student, and not perhaps what the admissions professional wants to hear, but more a little more candid. If there's any questions about the personal statement, you can feel free to ask those as well. Recommendations are also highly important. It is an opportunity for us to review how others perceive you, which is also for us an important admissions piece. It's recommended that there be a mix of both academic or professional or extracurricular recommendations. In addition to that, there's the standardized tests, so the SAT or the ACT. These can be optional for some international students, and that depends on the institution itself. Also, English language proficiency is very important. There are a variety of schools, such as Syracuse University, that house an English language institute on campus. This institute teaches English language training and English language usage to students before they start their academic program, if the school feels that that is necessary. So if you feel like perhaps you would benefit from an English language program before starting your academic program, you may want to consider a school that offers a comprehensive English language program. The English language proficiency is also a very important admissions factor, sometimes can be the most important admissions factor, because while some students may have excellent recommendations, wonderful personal statements, great grades, and this sort of thing, if the English language is not there, the institution is less likely to offer you admission because it would not benefit you as the student if you're not able to fully engage in the classroom setting. So keep that in mind. It's a very important piece of the admissions process, and I can also speak more on that later if there are any questions. Finally, proof of financial support documentation is very important for many international students. It's common that admissions decisions can be made without this documentation, but you would be admitted on a conditional basis, so that before you actually enrolled in the school, you would obviously need to provide the proof of financial support documents so that you can obtain your student visa. Okay, ways to enhance your candidacy as an admissions prospect for many schools. My first piece of advice would be to visit the Education USA office. These are professionals who are dedicated to helping students and providing resources on what to expect in the admissions process, what to expect in an academic setting. So definitely start there. The senior year in your high school is also very important. For us, we do consider that just as important as any other year, so please continue to take that seriously as you have done throughout your high school tenure. Definitely identify yourself to colleges. If it's not possible for you to make a campus visit, which many schools will host during the admission season, if you're unable to visit in person, please email the office directly, introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your background, get some questions answered. You may be able to connect with either current students or alumni who can also answer some of your questions. You really just want to try to get on the radar for that admissions office, and demonstrating your interest is part of that. And so also these kind of all tie in together. If you're able to interview in person or to talk to someone in person via Skype, I would definitely make yourself available to that. Not every school has an interview in the admissions process. Some do. I think it depends on the particular academic program, but I wouldn't expect an interview as part of the admissions process for many students. Also, use the advice from your teachers, your counselors, and your mentors. Deadlines are very important for U.S. higher education institutions. Deadlines are routinely posted on the websites and in admissions materials. One thing that U.S. schools like is predictability. They like to be able to, by a certain date, determine the number of applicants, the number of enrolled students they can expect to come in. So they take the deadlines very seriously because they do need to plan for their upcoming year. So keep that in mind when you are making a final decision about where to go. If you're juggling offers from different schools, it's possible in some instances you may be able to get an extension of a deadline to deposit and make a decision, but just please keep that in mind. And also be proactive, and I think that would go along with what I had said earlier in putting yourself on the radar of the school, contacting the admissions professionals, asking them questions, and those sorts of things. And I apologize, my last few slides are not in Korean. I sort of ran out of time before I came here, so if there are any questions, I can talk about these in more detail. My advice would be to consider any school that engages with the world. It's becoming more and more important that campuses become internationalized, that they offer a variety of international opportunities for their students. Many employers see this as an asset for students who have international experience, whether it's professional experience or academic exposure. So do consider this when looking at schools. Syracuse University does offer some of these opportunities. We have world partners, which are partner schools that allow us to be part of student exchanges for semesters in a variety of countries. We also have extension campuses for semester and academic year programs in Beijing, Florence, Hong Kong, Istanbul, London, Madrid, Santiago, and Strasbourg. There are also a few other gap year programs. These are pre-programs before you start your full-time undergraduate career. And then there are also a variety of summer programs and short-term programs that change year to year and are on the website. So you should, when looking at schools, definitely keep in mind the opportunities that are available to you to really get off campus and extend and expose yourself to an international setting. In addition, you also consider schools with a diverse academic program. It's something about being on a large university with a lot of different majors and colleges and schools that really enhance the interdisciplinary approach to education. And I say that more as advice, that even if you are an engineering major or a music major, or you're interested in a particular science or liberal arts, one of the benefits of being on a large campus is that while you may obviously be taking classes geared towards your major that might be required for your major, you will also have access to a variety of other courses available to you, lectures, lecture series, visiting professors. These are just some of the examples of the diverse opportunities that a large campus can attract. So do consider the diverse academic programs and options for you. Just as an example, Syracuse University has 200 plus majors, 100 plus minors that many of our students take advantage of. You can be the engineering major but minor in a foreign language or in a music if that's your interest. And a large campus, a large institution will offer you those opportunities. Also, something to keep in mind, we're talking about getting into college, but you also want to be thinking about life after college, and so that is to consider the Career Services Office services that are offered by your institution. Each institution that you apply to or look at should have a career services or a professional development office for you to connect with while you're a student and while you're an alum. In addition to a campus-wide career services office, there should also be department-wide. So if you are in a particular school studying engineering or music or political science, there should also be professional staff there who can assist in connecting you with internships and job placement opportunities either while you're in school or after school. So in your research and looking at a U.S. institution, you should definitely take some time to look at how robust the Career Services Office, those services can be for students. And I should say that one of the attractive things about a lot of U.S. institutions is the alumni networks that are built by these institutions. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to create strong alumni networks and ties with our graduates. And there are whole offices and budgets and departments that are dedicated solely to keeping our alumni engaged with us many years after they leave campus. It's often that these alumni come back to campus. They come back for professional networking events, to give lectures, to meet with students. And so as a student on campus, you should be looking for these opportunities, taking your time to meet with alumni. It's traditionally alumni who will interview and hire fellow alumni from fellow institutions. So keep that in mind as well as you are considering schools, and even as you begin your career and become a student on campus, keep that in mind as well. These are just a few facts about Syracuse University, just to identify a few distinctive qualities at SU. We have a large undergraduate population of over 13,000 students. There's another 4,500 graduate students. Our international enrollment for undergrad is over 1,200. International graduate enrollment is over 1,800, so these are very large numbers of international students. South Korea is one of our top 5 countries sending international students to Syracuse University. It's a large Korean population there, so keep that in mind as well. And then there are some statistics and numbers here on faculty, student-to-faculty ratio. Average class size is 25, which is a nice number, not too large, not too small. So if there are any particular questions about student life, I can answer those questions for you. You can also connect, there's some information here to connect with Syracuse, to talk with our Director of International Undergraduate Admissions. Her name is Karen Bass, or Nancy Rothschild. They're also available for you. In addition, today at this presentation, I do have 3 current students who are current SU students. They happen to be studying in Korea for the semester as part of our World Partners semester exchange programs. And what I would ask them to do at this time is just to briefly introduce themselves, talk about the college that you're in, your major, and if there are any questions, we can divert them to the current students, if that's okay. All right. Should we just, yeah. Would you mind?
You're not too close.
Yeah.
You can stand.
Hello, my name is Betsy Spear. I am studying computer science at the engineering school at Syracuse.
Hey guys, I'm Nikki, and I go to Syracuse and I'm a senior and I'm studying at UNC for the World Partner Program for this semester, and I'm majoring in international relations at the Maxwell School.
Excellent. Good. Are you also?
Yeah.
Yeah, would you mind?
Hi, I'm Sumi. Right now I'm at the same program with Mihi. I'm at UNC University for a semester. I'm majoring in economics, which is in College of Arts and Sciences, and I'm a sophomore at Syracuse right now.
Okay. Are there any questions that you guys have about studying in the U.S. or at Syracuse for our current students or for myself? Be happy to answer any questions you have. No? No? Okay. Are there any questions?
I have some questions.
Yeah.
People that are not here.
Okay. All right.
Let's see. So we have a question from a teacher at a local school asking if do you know, can you talk about scholarships that are for international students, if they're available, and what kind?
Yeah. Unfortunately, for international students, they're not eligible for U.S.-based student loans. However, Syracuse University does consider foreign students, international students, for merit-based scholarships. That's on a department-by-department basis and availability, so it just depends on the actual academic program students are applying into. Part of it depends on the selectivity of the program. There are some majors at Syracuse that are extremely selective because of their prestige being perhaps #1 in the country for programs like the iSchool or political science, those sorts of things. So those programs, because they're more selective, scholarship funding can be a little harder to obtain. In terms of the factors that would be considered, most likely, I believe, and I don't review those applications for scholarships, but I believe they are based on standardized testing scores, as well as the students' any prior achievements under, high school GPA, those sorts of things. So it's more an investment into the student, and so the academic performance in high school is taken very seriously. So. All right.
I have more of it questions before I keep. We get this question a lot. For recommendations, who should they ask?
All right.
But I think this question is, in particular, if it's not a teacher, because I think usually they're required to get a recommendation from teachers, and they're sometimes optional. So who should they ask?
Yeah, what we'd like to have, I think the important thing about a recommendation is that it's more important for us that the person knows who you are and they have either worked with you in some capacity or have been able to mentor you and really know you as a person. For us, it's substance over form. We want a recommendation from someone who can really speak to you as a student and your performance and your maturity level, as opposed to simply perhaps how important the person writing the recommendation might be. So I hope that makes sense. I don't know, did you students have recommendations from non-teachers when you applied?
Oh yeah, I got a recommendation from one of my sports coach.
Okay, coaches, yeah. Coaches, I think members of your church, if you're involved in a church, if you're involved in a group like Habitat for Humanity or the Rescue Mission, or you do volunteer work, that would also be, I think, a good non-academic channel for a recommendation.
This one's my question for the current students. What do you do for fun? Because I think we get a lot of these sessions where we're hearing from the reps and about the academic side and everything, but can you tell us a little bit of
Great question.
some fun things to do on campus?
Well, there are a lot of great clubs to join on campus, and usually whenever I have free time, I'm hanging out with people from the clubs that I've joined. And like even though I'm an engineering major, I joined this business club, and a lot of times we'll have just hangouts on the weekend. We'll go eat or go see a movie just to get closer and everything.
I would have to mention our basketball team.
Yeah.
Because it's really famous and a lot of people get together basketball season.
Yeah, that's one of the good things about SU is that our sports teams are very good. It's a Division I school, so we're very well known for basketball, football, lacrosse, and there's a social kind of culture and environment that circulates around the sports teams that really brings together a lot of students, raises the school spirit. It's a lot of fun. It's a way to get away from the classroom for a few hours, away from the library, and just enjoy it. So yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
I have a question.
Sure.
What's for TOEFL is minimum for admission?
Yes.
Grades.
Yep. The minimum TOEFL, it depends on the particular program that you're in, okay? And there's a few other factors involved. The TOEFL score for most of the science majors, the engineering majors, those sorts of majors is, I believe, the recommended TOEFL is around a 90 to 100. So anywhere in there, depending on a few other factors such as writing samples, perhaps a Skype interview may be appropriate. I believe those are the TOEFL scores that would be recommended for the science background majors. If you're looking at other majors like journalism or political science or sociology, some of the liberal arts, soft sciences, because there's a lot more reading and writing communication involved in that coursework, those standards are a little bit higher for the TOEFL. So you're looking at 100 to 110 comfortably as a recommended TOEFL. It's possible you could have a 90 TOEFL, but because we've seen writing samples from you, we've had a Skype interview with you, we've talked to you, we'd be comfortable admitting you into a program that recommends a higher score, but it becomes a more organic assessment at that point. So really depends on your major. And
also just to add to the question about having fun,
Yeah.
like as a Korean, there's like a group called KSA and CASA, the Korean Society of Communication, where a lot of Korean people gather together and they have an orientation for Korean students, and also they hang out with like seniors, juniors, and they help out you to adjust to the community. And also, Marshall Street is one of the best known streets in Syracuse where there's a whole bunch of restaurants, stuff like that. So a lot of students go there during their free time, they enjoy their meals and stuff. And also, Syracuse is known for a cold city. So skiing is one of the best for outdoor activities during the winter time. So basically, there's a lot of stuff for foreign students, also especially as Korean, to entertain themselves while they live at Syracuse.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with all that.
I have a question to the two Korean, I guess are you Korean Americans or are you Korean passport holders?
I'm Korean.
So Korean.
I'm an international student. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And yourself?
I live in
You don't
not
know.
really international.
Okay. So my question is, there's, I'm a college counselor. So a lot of the parents who are thinking of sending their children to the United States are reconsidering America because currently there's a lot of unemployment after university education here locally in the best universities, also in Korea. So why dish out all this money and send them out to America, get an American degree, when really after all that, they come back and they still cannot find a job. So my question to the two Koreans are like, what do you think your future, after you finish your sophomore and you get your degree, do you already have a job waiting for you? Are you getting work experience in Syracuse? Are you able to get an internship or something like that?
Well, I think that question is I think it's a big question. But first of all, it doesn't really matter about where you're from. Like, it's not the fact that you're studying in America, Korea. I think everybody is struggling with the problem of unemployment. But as a Korean student, when you're a student at Syracuse University, there's a lot of Korean associations. So basically, there's Korean community where they let you know like what kind of conferences are out there for students to attend and see if they can get a job interview for that. And for me, international students, it's really hard to get a job in the U.S. particularly because they don't really take the international students. They're struggling with the OPT visa and stuff like that, job visa, right? So basically, a lot of students who study abroad, like me, who study in the U.S., they come back to Korea and apply for a job. But usually, like Syracuse is a very good, alumni in Korea. So basically, they gather up and they give information to the following students who goes to Syracuse. And also they get the conference information and they attend there and they apply for internship. And if they do get that internship, it's more likely for them to get the job at that particular office. So basically, I feel like it's not the matter of you studying in the US, why you spend all that much money. Yes, Syracuse has a high tuition because as an international student, it's a costly price. But I think it's a matter of how that student perform, like how students do well in the college, how much like clubs or like things that he or she participated in, and how much like that he's willing to actually look for the job, conferences, and trying to meet people as much as possible. So I think that is a question that goes by individual, I guess.
Any comments?
Well, for me, I'm not an international student, so I don't live in Korea. But I actually wanted to, after I graduate from Syracuse, I actually wanted to come to Korea and go to graduate school here. That's why I chose the work partner program. So, but then when it comes to jobs, I think it all comes down to internships that you guys search for when you're like sophomores and juniors. Those are the years that are very important to look out for internships before you graduate and get some experience about your major field or something.
I think, just to add on, I think what you said in the back was really important. I mean, yes, you're paying for tuition and you're paying for a degree and 4 years of academic training. Part of what you're paying for is also becoming part of Syracuse's legacy. So part of that professional network that you'll always have and you'll always be a part of. Particularly for Korean students, there just happens to be a very strong community of alumni who are now in Seoul working, who are extremely enthusiastic about Syracuse and more than willing to help its alumni succeed. So keep that in mind, as you consider studying in the United States.
So is it the alumni basically at a law school, or is
No,
it
it's also the undergraduate level and particular colleges. So our Whitman Business School alumni, our engineering alumni, our communications alumni. There will actually be and I've just learned this kind of separate from this discussion, but our law alumni have dinners every 4 months here, 3 months in Seoul. In December, there will be a joint dinner with our Law Alumni Association and then our Syracuse University, complete University Alumni Association will be having a huge dinner reception in December to bring everybody together and network and meet and all of that. So it's a great group. Mm-hmm. Are there any other questions you might have, or you might? Yeah. Yes?
Any other questions? Okay.
Right.
대학원 프로그램에 대해서 여쭤보셔도 돼요. 두 분 다 대학원 프로그램에 관심이 있는데, they are interested in graduate programs.
Okay, graduate programs? Yeah, for every, we have, you saw the list here, there are a variety of colleges within the university. Each one of those colleges has a series of graduate programs. The largest of those would be the College of Arts and Sciences that houses all of our liberal arts undergrad and graduate programs. And so, there really are just as many opportunities for graduate study, getting a master's degree in the School of Architecture, the School of Education, the School of Arts and Sciences, just as many opportunities for the master's programs as there are for the undergraduate programs. Those are also, I think, just as comprehensive in terms of the academic rigors involved. It's very, master's programs in the United States tend to be focused on a lot of research and a lot of thesis work, less kind of lectures and listening to the professor and courses that you may be thinking of for undergraduate or high school type classes. So it can be rigorous, but the benefits pay off in that the master's in America still at least does kind of set you apart from your colleagues who may not have master's degrees. It does designate you as perhaps an expert in that field if you're interested in pursuing a master's degree. So.
There are no more questions.
That's great. No more questions, but if you guys would like to meet or talk to just informally any of our current